Okay, we're recording again. We're going to download Git Windows. It's going to ask us, do we want to do this? We're going to say open it. Now, the reason I was a little confused about this is I thought that GitHub Desktop actually did this for us, but we're going to go ahead and do it this way. So I'm going to go the standalone installer 64-bit Git Windows setup. I'm going to put it in my downloads. I'm going to save it. Should take it a hot second. If I'm using Chrome, it's up here. I don't remember where it is in Edge if you're using that. I'm not going to tell you which browser to use. That's very personal preference. But I'm going to click on the executable. It's going to say, do you want to allow changes? I'm going to say yes. Next. I'm going to basically take all the defaults here. Windows Explorer integration. Yes, yes, yes. Next. Git. Yes. Next. Let Git decide. Yes. Get from the command line, yes. Next, bundled, open SSH, SSL, check Windows style, that's fine. Again, some of these things, or almost all of these things, can be changed in retroactively if we need to. Fast forward or merge, get credential manager. This is going to be working behind the scenes for the most part anyway. We don't need to do that. We're going to install it. There it goes. It's installing. And voila, almost. This is going to let us integrate directly with GitHub through VS Code. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Launch Git Bash, no. View release notes, I don't need to do that either. I'm going to go finish. I'm going to close and then reopen. And then I'm going to click over here. Notice that this changed, boys. Right here, if I click on this, it's showing me all the files and everything that has changed within these files. Now, because it's brand new, everything has changed in these files, right? The purpose of this is to be able to push it up to GitHub so that it is publicly available, at least in our case, right? So I'm going to say commit and push right over here under this little drop-down area. And it says whatever. There are no stage changes. There actually are. We say always, okay? We're not necessarily staging them. Now, it's going to fail here because I forgot to put a commit message. That's important. So I'm going to say, I can either say accept or whatever, or just close this, and it will stop trying to commit and push. And I'm going to call this first push to GitHub. That's every time you make edits to your code, it's going to force you to make notes because that's part of its purpose, right? So I'm going to click on commit and push. And this time, it will go away. It will say, do I want to sign in with my browser? I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my browser. And hopefully it will connect effectively. You can see that I've got a local host situation going on here. I'm hoping that it didn't fail outright, but it might have. And it says, would you like Visual Studio Code to periodically run Git? We're going to say yes. It's still, I think, trying to commit, but we'll see what happens when I go back and forth, because this is probably not my favorite page to get at this juncture. So let me go ahead and close these, and we may need to try to do this again. We'll see what happens. When you make changes to a file after Git is linked up here, for example, if I make a comment up here like, we are editing this file after installing Git. Now, what happened over here? Source control said you changed something. And if you change something, then we come over here and we're going to say commit and push, but we didn't put a commit message again. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to say, oh, actually, second push. And then I'm going to click commit and push. And all those changes have gone up. Now, what have I actually done? What I've done here is I've created, watch this when I refresh, a Git repository with all my files in it. Main is now up here. What you are going to submit for homework from now on is this URL right here. This is your homework. Okay? Going forward. But that's the gist of it. Okay? And I'm going to stop recording now because that's enough.